Excuse me. Good afternoon, guys. Or good evening. It's 6:33 p.m. Today is Monday, and let's start with the pre-market notes. So okay, so price action is neutral bullish across the board, right? That was the overnight stuff, and it was holding above Friday's high actually, right? So buyers were in control at that point going into the day, right? And so the idea was 70% buyers, 30% favor sellers, as long as price is holding it above preferred buyers area in both NQ and ES. Okay, that was the idea. So now here, this was the last week notes. You can read through it, right? And price was trading above these levels. That means indirectly, that buyers are there pretty much. So this week price is above all these last week levels. See that? So as long as it is above all these levels, short-term buyers are not giving up, and they will be there to defend their territory. NQ is above this area, right? Key today, okay? Key today, 889 and 50, right? We are back again in the mid-term, short-term fighting areas, so we are allowed for both sides of trading, right? But going into the day, idea is first 70% buyers, 30% sellers, and then depending on the real-time information, we can decide whether to stick with buyers or we have to do 50-50, like shorts and long both, favoring both. That was the idea we discussed in Discord also. So as long as here backup buyers area 38, 68, 52, and at the same time sellers are also there from preferred sellers area and backup sellers area, right? We just have to feed on weakness of one party and join the other party. That's basically I'm saying counter trend, or counter to the price action we have to trade. NQ is a similar story. Russell, you already know this importance, right? Gold also the same thing. You can read through it, right? Dream number is 130 and 100. See, this 130 was very powerful today. That 130 gave us a hint, and ES 95, 97. That was the line in sand I gave it intraday, and NQ 130. And price was rotating around it, around this 130. In ES was rotating around this 95, 97, right? So those were the line in sand. The moment it went higher like this of the open, sorry, here, 930, yeah, right here, and it was holding this area, right here. So that was the line in sand, after looking at opening 30 minutes of price action. However, NQ was rotating around 130, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? So we knew that the price action is garbage. But in the garbage, you have to be very sharp in taking the trade. But once you take a trade, since it's a garbage, you have to do in and out fast, level to level trading, right? That is what we use, our methodology, right? So my trades are like that, in the morning, since it was garbage, if you really want to trade, right? If I really want to trade, then I have to be very picky, and I have to do in and out fast from the right levels, and I cannot trust the price action. So that is what happened in NQ, right? So I was watching ES and NQ because we discussed in Discord that we have to see both in sync, then we can trade, right? But they were both out of sync actually in the morning. So these are my trades. It's a mediocre trades. It's like in the garbage, right? So but I stick with the levels. See, 100, which is a dream number, 130 out. Then when price broke above it, again I had a breakout order here, and then bail out here, 158, right? Then it went down. See, I didn't take a short. Then I think in the morning, because 70% buyers. Now why only longs, right? Why not short here? So because of this, see, if you look at here, see that preferred buyers area and preferred sellers area. ES also you can do the same thing. See, this is what my notes, right? Apart from the notes, these were the comments in the chart. This was a preferred sellers area, this was a preferred buyers area, okay? And this is a backup buyers area, and this is a line in sand for ES buyers, final line in sand, okay, going into the day. And this was the backup buyers area, 957 right here, okay? And this was a target for sellers, right? And forget about this note. This note I typed it later on. I'll tell you when. but at least you know going into the day this was a preferred sellers area, buyers area. So as long as price is holding above this, we have to favor 70% buyers, right? That was as per the pre-market notes, and you can see it here. See that it held multiple attempts, but at the same time it also held below preferred sellers area, right? So price was stuck, and when you see it is stuck, you better stay away from the price action and wait for price to go out of this stuck areas, right? Same thing in NQ. You can see it. Look at this, perfectly between sellers and buyers, right? Look at this, up, right? So if you want to trade, then you have to pick up the middle levels, whatever our levels are, and you have to trade accordingly, in and out. You have to manage it, otherwise it will just slice through your stops, if you don't take a profit. So these were my trades, by reading the price action. But then at this point I knew it's a garbage, like this. So I first short, so I stick with longs, and once price went above it, this became my line in sand, 130, and then ideally really I want price to hold above this 150 area, which it did actually. Here it's pulled back and it held and tried to go higher, and at this point it should go higher, simple. If not, then price is back in the range and it may travel back down, that was the idea. So that's why I took the short. At the same time, ES also went below this 95.97. That's why I took the short back to this area, because really if you see in the morning, it did not retest or first time test of this area. It did not do it here. See that ahead of it somebody bought it, right? So here there is a more chances if it goes below it, it will come here. So that's why I took this short, right? But I bailed out the moment ES touched here. I bailed out in NQ right here, which was a good decision. Otherwise, see, price would have stopped me out, right? So then I stopped trading, because now I know it's a garbage. I can't trade in this price action anymore unless it goes above this or below this, right? It's a patience is required. That is what I say. Now after that, you can see it. That was your trade. The moment it break down below this preferred buyers area around 1320, right? I was not near the desk, but that is what I said in this one. 1320. See, yes, NQ was here, right? And so you wait. You don't take this breakdown, right? Because remember, we have to say in sync, right? Then there is a pullback. Now you can take a pullback, because now broken support turned into resistance. So now you can rely, because breakdown is risky because this one was not broken down, right? The risk is higher, but now you can try pullback with stop above here, somewhere. Then you wait whether NQ, respect this 130, So, and NQ basically did not go to the 130, right? And then there is a breakdown. Now you are in good spot, right? And then you just hold it and you can take profit wherever you want, right? And this was the line in sand. So you can technically hold up to this area, or you can take profit here also, right? Which is first flush down. See that? Little pullback, slice down to this area, right? And then again, once it goes below line in sand, short here, and you can see it slice through it, right? So same thing in NQ also. Look at this. NQ went all the way to backup bias area and went sliced through it, right? So now since it sliced through the backup bias area, this area became sellers area. Look at this. See that? At the same time, ES also line in sand, straight down move. See, that was another trade to the short side, right? So, and when price was here somewhere, right here, that's where I typed this statement, that today's low area potential NQ 875 to 850, and ES when it was here, I said it will go to 20. Those are the seller's target, right? And I can show you the proof also. See here. So when I came later on, at 3 o'clock, that is where I typed. Just came back to check and I missed the real move, right? So which was around 3 here, 328, somewhere around here, right? This is where I said, unfortunately not be able to sit around, but here look. Now 875, 816 in NQ, ES favorite 20 are the targets for the seller overnight, today or tomorrow, right? And then after that point onwards, you can see it 20, perfect to the dot, right? 875, 850 to the dot. See that? That's where it targeted areas, for sellers. So you could have technically played this move, like this, right? And price bounce from it. See? So, and that be all for yes, right? Now, one more thing to note here is, look at during this move, another reason I stick with buyers is there was no downside momentum here. AD was also holding very well, right? So that's why I stick with longs and only took one short, just reactionary, right? But then later on, when I said short here, you can see it right here around this time. See, you have multiple minus 600s now, right? See, so momentum is changing. AD was also now started trending down, right? That's why you take the short here. See, and now let me walk you through the Mboxwave also very quickly. So Mboxwave, right? So let's start here. So if you look at overnight price action here, right? Before that, this is 5-minute chart, or sorry, 10-minute. That's fine. Leave it 10-minute then, right? So since I had a 10-minute open, so I'm gonna use 10 minutes, right? So it's a flexibility, you know, I can use any time frame I want, right? The trade will be same. So here you can see, so price was trending higher, right? So up to this point, so this was our preferred buyers area, like this one, okay? So I have to use this area today, you know, I can't blindly follow these things, right? So here you can see price was trending higher. Entire overnight it held above your Friday's high and closing, right? So there are too many buyers here, right? I usually don't go against the context. So context is going into the day. If you already went through my previous minutes where I covered regular video, then you will know that below this area, then I am interested in shorting even, right? Otherwise, you know, I will favor 70% buyers above this area. That was the whole idea, okay? So with that idea in mind, you can see there was a price going higher and higher, okay? Then here there is a delta demand divergence, right? So 222, 101 or whatever, right? And then here also, you know, it's a very tiny volume, right? But slight divergence, so buying was there, right? Here it was green, right? So there is no way you can short here, correct? Now unless you zoom down to the lower time frame, you may find some trade here, right? But for example, for this exercise, 10-minute chart, right? There is no short here, right? And then price just ping pong, right? There was a balance here, small balance, right? And then there was a breakdown with this signal, right? Here there was a signal, right? Big dot, right? And there was a breakdown here, and there was a supply also here. This one's also going down, right? So now you can go with the flow here if you want to, you know, like 122 or so. You can short, go with the flow, right? With this breakdown, or you can wait for a pullback and maybe you can short around here or so, right? But the idea is not to target this level, right? So this is my lines, right? But then when you are trading, you may not have these lines, right? Or maybe you connect these lows and you may have these lines, right? But anyway, so you can even take a profit here, but that was not the idea that you took this trade aggressively at the breakdown to just take a profit here, because your stop would be right here, right? 170 and you are taking trade at 120. So your 50-point stop, you are at least targeting this area, right? Roughly 221 risk reward, right? Then you can take this trade. Otherwise you have to wait, you know, because this is early breakdown. You never know, because entire overnight and Friday price trended higher. It is unlikely that it will just gonna go fall through it. It may be a trap also, and you can see it was a trap actually. So whoever shorted it based on this time frame, right, and they did not take a profit, which they are not supposed to, right, based on this, and then they kept shorting here like this pullback, they got messed up. Their stops triggered with this move, right? This was the first bar of the open pretty much, and you can see it. Price went up and down and closed in the middle, right? So this is indecision. There is no decision here in this bar. The first 10 minutes told you that there are no real players here, no sellers, no buyers. Based on this bar itself, I can tell you. And in fact, after this breakdown of this balance, the price was able to go all the way up here. Something is off, and then there was supposed to go down, right? But look at this, there was an imbalance in delta here, in this buying or selling. There was an imbalance basically, right? It's supposed to be down, right? So at least some buyers are there, and then you can see price again came down, right? And then it held basically this our dream number, right? And then it went higher. So when you're watching this in real time, you may see some delta numbers here, which is now not there, but in real time there was a number here which was lower than this 240. So supply was diverging, there was a less supply on the way down, right? And in fact, this was an imbalance. You can technically go long right above, right here, which is right here. You don't have to even wait for a bar to close, or you can wait for a close and then you can go long right here, right? And then you can look for moon, right? But then if you don't know the levels, then yes, you are looking for a moon here, right, based on this. Then you saw this 121, 101, so it is higher than this, means demand is there, right? And but buying is not yet in the picture. But looking at this big buying, this rising, right, everything is good, right? And then what happened? If you did not take a profit, assuming you don't know about this 150 importance of the levels, our levels, right, then you will not take profit. And the way I was reading in the morning in Discord, right, I took the profit here, right, even without even looking at this bar, I took the profit right here, right? But let's say you are holding it, you are long, right, all this thing, and then you saw this, correct? So ideally, when price went above this area, entire this area, right, it should have held it here, but the moment you see it going down, you should cut it. Something is off. You should have been reading that information right from here. That day is not good. So you should not become greedy and hold for a moon. So how you do trade management is also important based on the day, right? So let's say you managed it or whatever you did, right? But then price went down. Now what? Came down again here. Your day is screwed. You can't trade in this price action anymore unless it goes below this low or this high at this point. This is all garbage actually, right? But now I'm going to walk you through the garbage also, right? So when it came up here and then came down, right? Look at this 91 divergence, less selling, delta divergence, right? It may give you a rights to go long here, again. And price is already ping-ponging, right? So you can dial down to the lower time frame, right? And then you can catch a long right here somewhere, which is around 1120 or so, right? So now let's see what happened at 1120. Let's do 1 minute, right? See if 1 minute gives you a trade. 1120, which is right here, right? 213 minus 213, right? So it's a good supply, right? Price should have gone down, but instead look at this, there is no selling here. See? So that was the hint you can get from this 1 minute, correct? And then look at 45, went down, +2, up, this algo, buying, go long right here. See? Right here, put your stop here, and you're good here. See? So you have to just, go dial down to the lower time frame to find your trade then, right? In that case, now go back to this was your trade, right? Or you can wait for this dot and then go long, right? Now this time you are looking again for a move, right? Assuming, right? But when price was going higher, there was no buying going on here, right? There was a delta imbalances here, right? Again, there was an imbalance here, right? But price was not going higher, right? And the buying was little bit less. It was not like great buying, but let's say still you are holding it, and then again price came down like this, right? Again you have to bail out then. Right? Then because you already know that you enter in the garbage thing, right? So, but for me there is no trade here. I'm only going to take a trade below this and above this, right? Then what happened? Then I have a nice big candle. See that? I have a supply selling going on here. I have a big bar here also. I have a delta also down, right? This was my trade right here. And then I can hold it as much as I want. So that was the trade of the day. This is all garbage. This was the trade of the day right here. And that be all for today.